Currently, there are two different viewpoints as follows. The first viewpoint is that a new labor relationship has arisen between the two parties since the old labor contract expired. The definite term contract has been transformed into a definite term contract. The time for signing a new labor contract between the two parties is 30 days from the date on which the old contract expires. The second viewpoint is that only when 30 days after the labor contract has expired and the new one is not signed while the employee continues working for the employer can the automatic transformation happen. First instance People's Court. The initial trial court where an action is brought. Appellate People's Court. A court having jurisdiction to review decisions of a trial level or other lower court. Collegial, higher People's Court. To conduct appellate trial of cases in which first instance judgments or decisions of people's courts of provinces or centrally run cities within their territorial jurisdiction which have not yet taken legal effect are appealed or protested against in accordance with the procedural law. Supreme People's Court. The Supreme People's Court is the highest judicial body of the Socialist Republic of Vietnam. The Supreme People's Court shall review according to cassation or reopening procedure in accordance with the procedural law judgments and decisions of courts which have taken legal effect and are protested against. In reality, there are many disputes arising from this issue, and the viewpoints of the first instance and appellate courts are also different. Even when the appellate judgment was cancelled by a cassation decision, the appellate court does hold up their point of view and objects to the cassation decision. In the author's opinion, the second point of view is more reasonable than the first one. It is necessary to understand that the period of 30 days after the expiration of the contract is regulated by law so that both parties can consider signing the new labor contract or terminating the labor relationship. Within 30 days, the issues between the two parties will be solved under the old labor contract, according to Decree No. 44/2003/NDCP. If the labor relationship is terminated, the terms and conditions of the old labor contract will be applied. Provision on transformation of labor contract in Labor Code 2019 is suitable for the labor classification. According to Article 22 of the Labor Code 2012, there are three types of labor contracts as follows: indefinite term, definite term contract and seasonal or work-specific labor contract with a term of less than 12 months. According to the Labor Code 2019, there is a change in the classification of labor contracts. Under Article 20 of this code, there are two types of contracts which are indefinite term contract and definite term contract with the term of less than 36 months from the day on which the labor contract takes effect. The aforementioned change leads to the change of regulation on the contract transformation when it expires but the employees continue working for the employer. 1. Within 30 days after the labor contract expires, the two parties must sign a new labor contract. During the time when a new labor contract has not been signed, the rights, obligations, and interests of both parties will be performed according to the signed contract. Thus, the provisions of the Labor Code 2019 have supplemented the ones of Labor Code 2012 and inherit the provisions of Decree No. 44/2003 and DCP at the same time. In particular, a contract entered into prior to its expiration will be applied to settle the rights, obligations, and interests of both parties within 30 days after the expiration date. 2. A definite term contract will become an indefinite term contract if the new labor contract is not signed after 30 days. The two parties are allowed to sign a new labor contract, which is a definite term contract, for only one more time. There is no regulation on the term of this contract, so we can understand that the longest term will be 36 months instead of 24 months under the Labor Code 2012. Thereafter, if the employee keeps working for the employer, an indefinite term labor contract must be signed, except for the following cases. Labor contracts with directors of state-invested enterprise. Labor contracts of elderly people according to Clause 1, Article 149 of the Labor Code 2019. Foreign employees' labor contract with the term less than the duration of work permit under Clause 2, Article 151 of the Labor Code 2019. Labor contract with a member of the Management Board of the Representative Organization of Employees according to Clause 4, Article 177 of the Labor Code 2019. It can be understood that the Labor Code 2019 implicitly acknowledge an additional type of labor contract, which is a definite term labor contract for the position's tenure or specific job. Thereto, the regulation on the contract term is no longer rigid with a compulsory term of 36 months or indefinite term, but more flexible in the according to the nature of the job, complying with work permits, or according to the term of work. It can be seen that the law provisions on the labor contract transformation are gradually improving from time to time on the basis of inheriting the previous regulations and expanding the options for the parties involving in some particular cases. In our opinion, this option also aims to create the solution for the cases where the employer deliberately violated the law and the proactive settlement on the basis of practical provisions.